December 26, 1996. A bone-chilling morning in Boulder, Colorado. A frantic 911 call shatters the holiday silence. "We have a kidnapping. Our daughter is gone." The caller is Patricia Ramsey, better known as Patsy. Her voice trembles, words stumbling over each other in raw panic. Somewhere in their sprawling 15-room mansion, her 6-year-old daughter, JonBenét, a child beauty queen with golden curls and a dazzling smile, is missing. And on the wooden staircase, a chilling ransom note, 3 pages long, demands $118,000 for her safe return. But there's a problem. A problem so strange, so unsettling, that it would turn this case into one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries in American history. Because JonBenét was never actually taken. It was supposed to be a perfect Christmas. The Ramseys, a wealthy and influential family, had just celebrated a joyful holiday. Their home was filled with decorations, laughter, and the scent of fresh pine. But sometime between the last Christmas gift and the early hours of the next morning, something went terribly wrong. At 5:52 a.m., Patsy's 911 call is placed. Police arrive minutes later, expecting a standard kidnapping case. Instead, they step into a crime scene that defies all logic. JonBenét's tiny body isn't found in a back alley or abandoned warehouse. She isn't discovered days later by authorities scouring the city. No, she's right there, inside her own home, hidden in the basement, behind a heavy wooden door, wrapped in a white blanket. Her skull is fractured. A garrote, crafted from a broken paintbrush and a cord, tightly wound around her neck. Her lips slightly parted. Her hands cold. The police are stunned. The parents? Devastated. And the world? About to witness one of the most perplexing, disturbing cases of all time. Let's talk about the ransom note. Because if there's one thing that throws this case into pure chaos, it's this bizarre, 3-page letter. It demands $118,000, an oddly specific amount. Coincidentally, it matches the exact Christmas bonus JonBenét's father, John Ramsey, had received that year. Was a clue, a coincidence, or something more sinister? Then there's the writing style. The note begins with, "Listen carefully. We are a group of individuals that represent a small foreign faction. But here's the thing. No kidnappers ever mention who they are. They demand money, set deadlines, keep things brief." This note, it's long, wordy, and strangely theatrical, almost as if someone wanted it to sound like a kidnapping, but didn't quite know how. And the strangest part? The note was written inside the house, on Patsy's notepad, using a pen from their own desk. Who writes a ransom note at the scene of the crime? Who is the time? And if this was a kidnapping, why was JonBenét's body still in the house? The Boulder Police Department was not prepared for this kind of case. From the very start, crucial mistakes were made. First, the house was not treated as a crime scene. Officers allowed family and friends to roam freely, contaminating potential evidence. Even John Ramsey himself was seen moving in and out of rooms without restriction. Then came the discovery of JonBenét's body. Instead of securing the scene, John carried her upstairs, cradling her in his arms. That meant any crucial forensic evidence, fingerprints, fibers, DNA, was now compromised. By the time investigators realized their errors, it was too late. From the moment JonBenét's case hit the news, America was divided. Some believed an intruder had crept in through a basement window. Others were convinced this was an inside job. Theory 1, the intruder theory. A mysterious outsider broke into the house, wrote the ransom note, and killed JonBenét before escaping undetected. The basement window was slightly ajar, but there were no clear signs of forced entry. A footprint was found near JonBenét's body, but it didn't match any family members. Theory 2, the family theory. Some investigators believe someone inside the house was responsible. The ransom note's handwriting had similarities to Patsy's. There was no evidence of anyone entering or leaving the house that night. Was this an accident covered up to look like a kidnapping? As the days turned into weeks, then months, the case took on a life of its own. The Ramseys became both grieving parents and prime suspects. The media turned them into villains. And through it all, one haunting question remained. Who killed JonBenét Ramsey? Just when it seemed like the case had reached a dead end, something unexpected happened. A new piece of evidence emerged. Something so bizarre, so shocking, that it would reignite theories and send investigators spiraling down a new rabbit hole. And that's when the world learned about the pineapple. A half-eaten bowl of pineapple. It sounds harmless, ordinary even. But in the mysterious and tragic case of JonBenét Ramsey, this small detail might be the key to everything. You see, when investigators examined JonBenét's stomach contents, they found undigested pineapple, meaning she had eaten it shortly before her death. Yet her parents, John and Patsy, swore they never gave it to her that night. So how did it get there? Who fed it to her? And could this single, overlooked clue unravel the case that has baffled the world for nearly 3 decades? Let's go back to the Ramsey household on Christmas night. According to the official timeline, JonBenét fell asleep in the car after a late visit to a friend's house. John carried her upstairs, tucked her into bed, and that was supposedly the last time anyone saw her alive. But here's the problem. On the kitchen table, police found a bowl of fresh pineapple and milk, with a spoon still resting inside it, and dusted onto the bowl, small fingerprints belonging to JonBenét's older brother, Burke Ramsey. Burke, just 9 years old at the time, told police he had been asleep all night and knew nothing about what happened to his sister. But if that's true, why was his fingerprint on the pineapple? Did JonBenét wake up and come downstairs to join him? If so, was there an argument? Did something go terribly, horribly wrong? And more importantly, was this the real reason the crime scene was staged? Let's talk about the infamous 911 call. Patsy Ramsey dialed emergency services at exactly 5:52 a.m., claiming her daughter was kidnapped. But forensic experts later discovered something chilling hidden in the call's audio. After Patsy thought she had hung up, the phone line remained open for a few extra seconds, capturing voices in the background. What was heard? A male voice, possibly John Ramsey, saying, "We're not speaking to you." A young boy, believed to be Burke, muttering, "What did you find?" And Patsy, her voice hushed, whispering, "Help me, Jesus. Help me." The problem? The Ramseys had claimed Burke was asleep the entire time. So was he awake? Did he know something he wasn't supposed to? And why did Patsy sound so desperate before she even knew her daughter's fate? The more investigators looked into the case, the stranger the evidence became. Consider this. The stun gun theory. Some experts believe JonBenét had small burn-like marks consistent with a stun gun, but no stun gun was ever found in the house. The missing scream. A neighbor reported hearing a child scream around 2 a.m. Yet, in a massive, echoing mansion, John and Patsy claimed they heard nothing. The DNA contradiction. Male DNA was found on JonBenét's underwear, yet it didn't match John, Burke, or anyone in the family. Was it an intruder? Or a contamination mistake? Every clue seemed to pull investigators in a different direction. And just as public suspicion turned toward the Ramseys, something unexpected happened. By early 1997, the media had transformed the Ramseys into public enemies. Talk shows speculated. Tabloids ran wild with accusations. Everyone had a theory, but one thing was certain. The Ramseys weren't acting like grieving parents. Instead of cooperating fully with police, they lawyered up. Instead of sitting down for formal interviews, they appeared on national TV, pleading their innocence. And then, in an interview that sent shockwaves through the case, Burke Ramsey was finally asked what he thought happened to his sister. His response? "I don't know, probably some guy who was crazy." A strange answer, a detached tone, and, to many, it was a moment that felt off. Was Burke simply a child confused by the chaos around him? Or was there something more behind his words? For years, the case seemed frozen in time. No arrests, no convictions, just endless speculation. But then, in 2006, out of nowhere, a man stepped forward. His name was John Marcar, and he claimed he was the one who killed JonBenét. He knew details only the killer would know. He described moments of the crime that had never been made public. He painted a picture so disturbing, so precise, that investigators thought they had finally found their man. Until they didn't. Because when they tested his DNA against the crime scene evidence, it didn't match. So if John Marcar wasn't the killer, then why did he confess? And more importantly, was the real killer still out there, watching all of this unfold? It was supposed to be over. When John Marcar confessed to killing JonBenét Ramsey in 2006, the world thought the mystery had been solved. He knew chilling details about the crime. His words painted an image so dark, so disturbingly vivid, that even veteran investigators felt a sense of unease. But then, just as quickly as the case seemed closed, it all crumbled apart. Carr's DNA didn't match. His timeline didn't fit. His entire confession, a twisted fantasy. Which means, after all these years, we are back where we started. No answers. No closure. Just a 6-year-old beauty queen whose murder still haunts the world. So where do we go from here? Let's dive into the final theories. The ones that could either solve this case or prove it was never meant to be solved at all. For years, one question has plagued this case. Could an intruder have slipped into the Ramsey home that night? Some investigators believe yes. Consider this. A basement window was found open with a suitcase directly beneath it, as if someone had used it to climb inside. A partial footprint was discovered near JonBenét's body, one that didn't match anyone in the family. And most chilling of all, the unidentified male DNA found on JonBenét's underwear. But here's where it gets messy. There were no signs of a break-in upstairs. No footprints in the fresh snow outside. No reports of strange figures lurking near the house that night. So, if an intruder was responsible, how did they get in, and why did they leave behind the ransom note? Unless, of course, the note was a cover-up for something else. Now, let's turn our attention back to the Ramsey family. Despite the DNA evidence suggesting an outside suspect, many still believe that JonBenét's killer was someone inside the house that night. Here's why. The bizarre 911 call, where Patsy seemed to be speaking to someone after she thought she had hung up. The ransom note, which experts say seemed staged and took an unusually long time to write. And of course, the pineapple, the detail that places Burke Ramsey at the center of suspicion. Some theorists believe that an accident may have occurred that night, one that led to a frantic cover-up. Could JonBenét's death have been unintentional? Could someone have tried to stage a kidnapping to protect a family member? And if so, how far would they have gone to keep the truth buried? For decades, the DNA found at the scene was seen as the key to solving this case. Then, in 2016, something unexpected happened. New forensic analysis revealed that the DNA found on JonBenét's underwear might not belong to one person, but multiple individuals. And worse, it could have been the result of contamination from factory workers who handled the clothing before it was ever sold. If that's true, then the DNA evidence, the one thing pointing to an outside intruder, might mean absolutely nothing. Which leaves us with a terrifying question. Have we been looking in the wrong direction this entire time? So here we are, nearly 30 years later. No arrests, no convictions, just theories. JonBenét Ramsey would have been in her 30s today. Perhaps a mother, perhaps a performer, perhaps something else entirely. But instead, her name remains frozen in time, a symbol of one of the most infamous unsolved crimes in history. And maybe that's the scariest part of all, because the truth, it's out there. Someone knows what happened that night. And until they come forward, the case of JonBenét Ramsey will remain one of the darkest, most haunting mysteries of our time. Engagement question. Do you believe the key to solving this case is still out there? Or will the mystery of JonBenét Ramsey never be solved? Let us know your thoughts.